In this episode, after passing through the high mountains, I find myself in an incredible canyon. Then I cross the high plains and into another amazing narrow valley. Morning. Had to stop and have a look at the glacier and get some more photos and a bit more of a closer look too. It's really cold this morning too, so I'm going to put another layer on a puffer jacket before I head to the next section. So it should be a pretty cruisy day till I get to about Cargill, get some petrol and then head off to Iron Valley place to see what that's like. I've been told it's pretty spectacular. We'll find out. Alright, I'm going to put this jacket on and keep moving. Although slow, glaciers are an incredible function of nature, creating these magnificent valleys. I grabbed one last look. I find it hard to articulate what it feels like a lot of the time, but here it's easy. It really does feel like you're riding amongst giants. More horses roaming the grasslands. They're going to have a lot of work on their hands widening this section of the track to get it wide enough for 2 lanes and the shoulders of the road. Now that was a rather large mountain range I got to ride through. Here are all the supplies for the road infrastructure, from guardrails, bridge parts and power lines. A quick police checkpoint stop. I had made it back to the town of Cargill. Once I cross the river, I take a left to climb up over the next mountain, so I can drop down into the next valley, which will take me to Orion Valley. I started climbing and pretty soon had a great view of the valley that Cargill is nestled in. Soon I was snaking my way up through the switchbacks towards the top of the pass. Crested over the top of the pass. Then, as always, what goes up must come down. And I started the descent, again through a lot of switchbacks. This side had a freshly laid surface. I gather this could have been a dirt track only months ago. It's sad to see the loss of another dirt track. Although the mountains are dry around here, I had dropped into one of those green valley floors. They had piles of grass, drying in the sun beside the road. I pulled over into the shade. Just pulled over as that was a long stint. It's 12:30 and I left it about 5:30. And that last climb and descent, I don't think I've ever done that many switchbacks in my life. I don't think I've got too long to go until I find Orion Valley. It's a bit more and I'll be at a rest. The road ran along the side of the valley as the valley floor dropped further below. Then the valley ran into another valley. This one had the Indus River running through it. I pulled over as there was an oncoming truck, and as you can see, there was only room for it. made it to Orion Valley. Well, this is where it's set on the map. So I started up the road to see what was there. It seemed to be an orchard, and they were drying grass. I rode a little further, but the road ended at a school. So I headed back down to where the orchard was, as there was shade there. It is incredibly hot in this valley. I had to stop and just get my jacket off. It was from going this morning and I had a puffer on and the thicker gloves to now just it's stunning, this valley. That river is running rapid. It looks like a lot of new tarmac, so this may have been a dirt track only, I don't know, within a few years at least. They have a really nice orchard here though. One lady had these massive melons, as in green fruit. Lots of little orange and yellow fruits through here. I thought this was more of a town and there might be homestays, but it seems there's a flash sort of looking camp thing. So my what am I at? 1:30. It's about 170 kilometres to Leh. I might have a bit more look around to see if there is anywhere to stay, or might make it an extra long day on the bike. But yeah, the ride in, wow. So I rested and contemplated what to do under the fruit trees. I pretty quickly worked out I like riding, so it was back onto the road. There was so much fruit on the trees and on the ground. You could smell the sweetness in the air.
You want to leave this place, but we grew up this old town, just put it all behind. Remember you and I would always find somewhere to hide when we were kids, so we could see and hear the water run.
There was a village on the flat plateau on the other side where they had farmed and turned it all green.
You miss the ones you know. I'll be here, hanging on, waiting for your call. Seems like
Not the place to come upon a truck, as there are very few places to get past.
in our minds to turn to memories. The river's gonna cry when you're gone, 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 gone.
Breathe in, it's gonna be tight.
Gonna cry when you're gone, 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 gone.
I reckon I can fit.
Gone, 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 gone.
Another town on the flat plateau. They are laying road base, so soon they'll be laying blacktop. I made it back on to the main road to Leh, and another police checkpoint.
You would go find your own way. I still see when we climbed up in those trees, 12 years old, feel the wind, watch the river run, and the sun would always shine.
I made it back to Leh and headed for the same spot I'd stayed before. So after a long day on the bike, a shower is really good. Have some news too. The road past Manali is actually closed. Well, it has been for a while. There's been rain and floods and all that sort of thing. Apparently it opens again tomorrow, but information is a little hard to come by. So I'm thinking there's more rain coming, so I'm thinking I might head that way tomorrow morning. Probably take a day, probably 2 to get there over the mountain range, just to try and slide through just in case there's more issues to come. As I'm heading to Manali, there was another track that I've heard of, Splitty Valley, which I really wanted to check out, but that's been blocked, I think, by 5 or 6 different landslides with all that weather. So there's an option to go the long way around. Probably take me a day, probably 2 days extra. I do have the time, seeing I'm going down to Manali early to try and get through that weather window. So we'll see how I go, see if I can get around to it that way. If not, it'll be down to Delhi. If I can, we'll see one more spot to check out in the Himalayas. But for now, I'm going to pack up and relatively early start, just to have more options to stop and rest and get over a rather large mountain range and 4 high passes. I rolled out of Leh for the last time on this trip. It seems to be the best place to base yourself if you're going to explore the Ladakh area. It's kind of in the middle and has everything you could need. I made my way through town, where it seems the animals rule the road in the morning. This is the emptiest I've seen this main roundabout. Made it to the split in the road that heads to Manali. I don't think I've seen a bridge with more prayer flags on it. I then made the turn south and to the start of the high passes. Morning. Got a good start this morning. Left about 5:30. Got through any of that normal traffic around Leh. Just pulled over here by the stream to see these insane rock formations. Just certain sections are obviously hard rock, the others are soft, and it's left like the spine off a dinosaur or something. It's pretty incredible. Today we're heading south, across a few of the passes, and might camp somewhere out in the middle, well, little camps you can stay at, somewhere between a couple of the passes. Not going to push it too hard today, just cruise, have a look around, and have a look at things like this. Every time you go past something unique, there's always something different, always something interesting. So for the rock doctors out there, what information can you tell me about this red rock with the spines everywhere? It's pretty cool. Alright, let's have a look at this river. Well, from the flow of the water, at least I know I'm heading in the right direction, uphill. started to climb the long hairpin sections up the mountainside. I then saw my favourite thing, an Indian shortcut. As always, I'm not sure if it will rejoin, but it is more fun than the gradual switchbacks. Well, that's not exactly ideal. I wasn't going to be able to make it through that. So I backed it up carefully into the gutter. I then spotted a trail to my left. It too was a little chopped up, but easily passable. Up on the high passes, these are the kind of sections that have to be repaired every spring by the pro. I thought about it, but the dark dirt looks a bit too powdery soft, and without some more aggressive tyres, I'd struggle. I had made it to the top of the pass at 5,359 metres. That's where I was heading next. Made the first parcel this morning. It's like someone's taken it out or it's decided to crumble, the little statue at the top. And this time I did my oxygen levels and it was 84%. The last time it was 74%. So obviously I've acclimatised to the high altitudes. Again, like all the passes, stunning. Well, besides the one that was hailing and covered in fog. Not so fun, that one. It's nice, it's been a cruisy, comfortable morning, and the cloud covers make it a bit cooler too. Might get another top one though, just for the descent. I made my way down towards the valley floor. saw something on the side of the road that I needed to check on. At home, in any remote area, the right thing to do is stop and check on fellow travellers if they've stopped on the side of the road. He seemed to be okay. I offered him some water, then got back on the road. Now that would be hard work at this altitude. There was a massive herd of goats on the plain. What's a tuk-tuk doing all the way up here? They would have had a lot of fun coming up all those passes. I spotted some faint dirt tracks, so around I went. The other track looked like it was heading down the valley in the direction I wanted to go, so I turned to follow it. Saw another side track, but I was more looking into this flatland here and trying to see if I get a picture with some of that green grasslands into one of the mountains. I might be able to. And it's also a dirt track, so why not at least have a look? There's a mountain range coming up here that might work. I can see the track keeps going that way, so hopefully it might join back up with a highway, or I'll come back. Still quite high at 4,800 or 700-800 meters. How big was the herd of, I guess it was goats that went past before? I guess there's nomads. I think there's a nomad settlement up here, or farmers, I guess you'd call, with their huts. So let's see if we can get an image. Probably not the best time of day with the sun up there, but we'll see what we can do. Pulled over and had a quick stop to get a snack and a drink, then headed off again. I came across those unique formations on the cliff face and again had to stop. They looked so delicate, like a heavy rain downpour would just wash them away. Ride through canyons like this all day on dirt trails, but sadly for people who like riding on dirt, it won't be like this for much longer. The amount of road construction going on through here is immense. For truck drivers and people commuting from Leh to Manali, it will be great and cut down the time. Also the wear and tear on vehicles. But it will be another one lost to the small minority who would have loved it to stay the way it is. See, I enjoy this, but I bet the truck driver hates it. Just a different perspective on the same thing. It's time to shorten these switchbacks. To be walking your bike now with so long to go, that's got to be a bummer. Now they're getting a little steeper. I started to lose traction. This is where I'd start thinking about putting on a different tyre with a more aggressive tread. It's always fun descending on a bike with gear on the back and a heavy backpack. Trying to understand how the change in direction and angle of the tyre with the extra weight swinging around is always tricky. I got to a section where trucks were blocking the road, so I thought I'd just sneak up to the front to see what the issue was. After a hand gesture or two, it seemed I could continue. After all that, it seems they just stopped for a break. Come to one of the roadside rest and camp areas where you can get some food and find somewhere to sleep. The one in front of me looked as good as any. First thing was to get some food. Plain.
Yeah.
Going for just the plain omelette. They have this bread omelette where the bread's inside the omelette. It's okay. Egg's good enough. Ooh, what do we got here? Nuts. Everything looks tasty when you're hungry. The kind lady asked a question that I didn't understand. It was easier just to look.
Yeah.
That would be my eggs being made. I think it's 1:30 now, so started at 5:30. I think, what's that, 7 hours on the bike's comfortable. I think after that I start to get a bit stiff and sore. I stopped at one spot and just had a quick drink, and there was a tour going through. There was a British guy there, and I just mentioned if they'd come through Splitty Valley. They hadn't, but the local guide, he said, "Oh, ask him," and it may be open, which is opposite to what everything else says. So I think I might try it tomorrow. I can only get turned around and then have to go the long way around. If I don't, that'll save some time, because I think the long way around is going to be mainly road. We'll see. But for now, I'm going to have a couple of eggs, I think. Sounds like they're cooking.
Marinum Prasham.
Marinum. Marinum.
Prasham.
Dashum.
Yeah.
Joke.
Joke. Yeah.
There were a range of knitted scarves, beanies and gloves.
Yeah.
There, yes. Okay.
Yeah.
It's just checking if she knitted them all. She did knit the ones at the end there. Yeah, I probably do need to clean my goggles. Looks really good. Again, just a fork. Let's see what this thing's like. It's hot. It's a little crunchy on the outside, which I don't mind. And warm food is good when it's cold. It's not too cold. I guess it's about 12. Now that my belly was full and I could think straight again, I just went up the road there. About 40 metres is the next police checkpoint, just to see what time they opened in the morning or let people through. And the guy said 5 a.m. and that's fine by me. So it's starting to rain and it's been long enough on the bike, so I think I'm going to crash here. They have these little rooms around the side, very basic, 4 walls, a roof and some bedding. That's it. So I think I'm going to do that tonight. Let's check out the accommodation for the night. It's kind of like a tent, just a bit firmer. Looks like it might have power. Nope. Alright, bring the bike up here. They did have another crucial facility. There was a river running below the camp with horses hanging out. So they come down and check out how cold the water actually is. I definitely call that icy. Now my hand's in the wind and it's burning. There were some birds using the upcurrent of the wind caused by the valley to soar through the sky. I saw the sun finally poke its head out from behind the clouds, so I jumped on the bike. The sun's just come out about 10 minutes before sunset, so I scrambled. I thought I might try and find somewhere there might be a picture. Still looking, but no, I think I've missed it. It's pretty peaceful now though, that all the traffic stopped. Oh well, it's worth a shot. I mean, and just even without a shot, just look around here. As I got back to the accommodation, I spotted an interesting shot on the hill above. Tiny bit of light left. Once that's gone, it's bedtime because there is no power. And these little huts, like the one I had coming up into Lay, I think it's part of the whole experience. You might as well come and stay in one, and it gets you in the mountains riding, if you do get up early in the mountains, less traffic and just get more time to explore. And on that note, I think I'm gonna call it a night. Till next time.
Oh my love, you're such a fragile thing, I know.
In the next episode, it's an early start as I head up into the high mountain passes and the clouds. Then some wet weather, more water crossings, more narrow cliff-edge tracks, and I ride through a landscape that looks like it's from another world.
The trees haven't started to shed, just feel the summer sun as it warms.